You have probably seen one of these before. There have been many versions of this meme going around on social media for years. The image will vary, and the exact wording will vary. However, the claim relevant to this video is always present, and that is DNA confirms women are among the remains. And that is the topic I will be covering. If you stick around to the end, I will also talk about why I decided to do a video about a meme. Before I continue, I want to make clear a few things that I am not saying. I am not saying female remains were not present. Also, I am not saying that females never fought. I am not saying these remains could not have been the result of warfare for one reason or another. What I am saying is that I cannot find any evidence that DNA analysis was ever conducted on these remains. Therefore, it is my opinion at time of recording that they never happened. Arguing any other claim or aspect does not address my position or evidence. This video is my reasoning for coming to this conclusion. I could be wrong. There could be information I do not know about. This is not meant to be taken as absolute fact. If anyone has reputable and verifiable evidence that refutes my position, please share it. For the sake of some context via a very short backstory, local tradition claims that the remains come from a battle that took place in 1580. This was a naval and land battle between the Takeda and the Gohojo. Originally, there was a mass grave at another location than where they are today. In 1900, exposed bones were seen, and they began to be collected. Eventually, skulls, skull fragments, and some other bone fragments were moved from the original mass grave site to what is now the Numazu City head mound in Numazu City, Shizuoka Prefecture. It is these remains I am talking about. With all that out of the way, the question to start with is, where does this claim come from? The source for the claim seems to come from page 6 of Dr. Stephen Turnbull's book, Samurai Women, 1184 to 1877, published in 2010. There will be a link in the description to the Google Books site for the book. The sample does not have the full book, but it does have page 6. It seems clear the above passage is the source because every iteration of the meme I have seen includes the same misspelling as Dr. Turnbull, referring to the location as Senbon Matsubara rather than Senbon Matsubara. Here is one meme that copies it almost word for word. And I want to clarify, Hojo Uchimasa was the head of the Gohojo in 1580, not his son Ujinao. Uchimasa retired in 1590, and Ujinao succeeded him briefly as head of the Gohojo, before dying in exile later that year after the fall of the Gohojo to Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Ujimasa also died in 1590, committing seppuku as part of the surrender agreement. In his book, Dr. Turnbull does not cite his source for his claim, although he does have a short bibliography at the end of the book. I have not been able to find any source for this claim. No one I have spoken to about this topic has found a source for this claim. Nothing I have read provides a source for this claim. To be fair, it is possible that one of the sources in his bibliography that I am not familiar with and do not have access to does mention this. Other than this possibility, though, there appears to be no corroborating outside literature about DNA testing of the remains. I have found no copies of said studies, no studies that mention them, no academic journal articles, no reputable news articles with other sources, nothing. Everything I can find comes back to Dr. Turnbull one way or another, directly or indirectly. Since I cannot find any evidence that does not in one way or another lead back to Dr. Turnbull, I currently think he is a likely starting point for this DNA claim. At best, one of the few sources in his short bibliography is the starting point, but I still cannot find anything outside of that. However, there was a study of the remains conducted. It was neither recent, as of 2010 when the book was published and claimed they were, nor did it involve DNA analysis. It is also the only study I can find of the remains. In 1988, an excavation of the remains in the mound was conducted, and in 1989, an article published in the Journal of the Anthropological Society of Nippon, Volume 97, Issue 1, pages 23 to 37. There will be links in the description to the English language abstract and the Japanese language article. This was a comparative osteological study of skulls, as is shown here from the article itself. Osteology being a field of anatomy that focuses on the physical characteristics and functions of bones. The objective was to compare the skulls to skulls from two other medieval mass grave sites to gain a better understanding of the physical characteristics of medieval Japanese skulls. DNA would not have been required to achieve this goal. Considering how new and extremely expensive DNA testing would have been in 1989, it seems highly unlikely that such analysis would be paid for unless necessary. Putting that assumption about the unlikelihood aside, there is no mention in the article nor the English language summary of any DNA analysis. This was a study of the physical characteristics of the skulls. Here, we can see that the English summary says that the conclusions about sex were based on the temporal bones, not DNA. There is no mention of DNA, which you think there would be if DNA confirmed the physical analysis. As such, the study says that the sex of the individuals is supposed, meaning that they cannot conclusively confirm the sex of the individuals, but they find it to be highly likely. It is not my goal here to argue the accuracy of these conclusions. What I am saying is that no DNA analysis was done as part of the study. Therefore, DNA did not confirm these conclusions at the time. So, there was not DNA testing done involving the original study. What about other studies? As previously said, I am not able to find any source for the claim regarding DNA analysis that does not trace back to Dr. Turnbull in some way. However, I have seen some people make citations of alleged sources. Some people cite an article in 2022 from the Kyoto University Forensic Anthropology Department's Journal of Archaeological Science. After searching, I can find no mention of a forensic anthropology department at Kyoto University. Searching the Graduate School of Medicine, there is no mention of forensic anthropology there either. I did find a Journal of Archaeological Science, but it is not connected to Kyoto University, nor even based in Japan. In addition, searching that journal's website brings up no information about this topic. I do not know where the addition of Kyoto University came from, or when it occurred, as it is not part of the statement by Dr. Turnbull. The department that supposedly conducted the analysis does not appear to exist at Kyoto University. In addition, when I contacted Kyoto University's Graduate School of Medicine, they had no information about DNA analysis of these remains. Another alleged source cited is the Japanese Journal of Historical Archaeology. There is a Japanese Journal of Archaeology, but I cannot find any evidence that the Japanese Journal of Historical Archaeology exists. Searching the site for the Japanese Journal of Archaeology also brings up no results for this topic. The website for the Numazu City Head Mound from the Numazu City Cultural Property Center, there will be a link in the description, makes no mention about DNA analysis being conducted. So here's a summary of what we've gone through so far and where we're at. There was an osteological study of the skulls and paper written in 1988-1989 that did not make any mention of DNA testing. I cannot find any other sources of studies, tests, and specifically DNA analysis being conducted. Dr. Turnbull's book appears to be a likely origin of the DNA claim. Anything I have been able to find that mentions DNA can somehow be traced back to him. The only other two alleged sources that some people cite do not appear to exist. The department that allegedly conducted the analysis does not appear to exist. Neither the Kyoto University Graduate School of Medicine nor the Numazu City Cultural Property Center have any information that DNA analysis was ever conducted on these skulls. Therefore, since I cannot find any evidence that DNA analysis was conducted on the skulls in question, it is my position that it did not happen. Why did I bother to make a video about this? After all, it's just a meme. Admittedly, it is kind of out of frustration. I usually do not engage with individuals sharing these memes. However, if it is from a page or group that claims to be sharing history, and it happens to pop up in my feed, I may say something. Recently, when I posited DNA tests were not conducted, I was accused of feeling threatened, having a damaged male ego, hating women, and even trying to erase women from history. Even though I said nothing about the sex, rather I was simply talking about the DNA analysis being done. Now, I could be wrong. As I said, there may be information that I am not aware of. I think that based on the evidence I have at the time of recording, my position is based on valid reasons. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least found it educational. What do you think? Do you agree with me? If you do not, do you at least understand my reasoning for it? If you have evidence to refute what I have said here, please share it. I would like to be proven wrong if I am. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, especially all the way to the end like this. Thank you so much. And an extra thank you to my Patreon member, Coulter Nebel. Again, the links to the sources will be in the description, as well as links to social media and ways to support the channel. Please leave a like or dislike, share your thoughts in the comments, but please keep them civil and try to keep modern politics out of it. Share this video if you want, and if you like what I do, consider subscribing. Until next time, otsukare-sama deshita.